She tried to convince herself that everything was under control, but it's not. The absence started off light, almost imperceptible, but now it weighs heavy. It hurts. With each passing day without any sign, anxiety grows. It's not ordinary longing. It's something that burns deep in the chest and has no escape. Thoughts don't stop. Routine doesn't distract. Hand time instead of healing is provoking more. The need for contact is winning over pride, and fear is making too much noise inside. There's no more peace when trying to sleep. There's no more truth in rehearsed gestures. There's no more control. What was silence has turned into torture, and when the mind tries to ignore it, the body reacts. The heart tightens, breathing falters, hands tremble. It's as if something inside is begging for a return, without words. It's clear, no matter how much one tries to disguise it. It's visible in the lost gaze, the impatient gesture, the absence of direction. Something is about to explode, and there's no longer a way to pretend that nothing is happening. When the absence begins to scream inside, the person realizes it. Sooner or later, it's starting now. At first, it was just silence. The absence seemed bearable, almost rational, as if the distance was necessary, as if pulling away was a firm, mature choice, shielded from any feeling that might escape. But time passed, and what was a decision turned into doubt. What seemed like strength transformed into an attempt to flee. Now everything is changing, without permission, without warning, and the control that was thought to be there is crumbling slowly. Because silence, when it's real, has a sound, and that sound has started to annoy, first as a faint noise, then as a constant echo, cutting through thoughts and touching the chest without asking. It's as if something is pressing from within, as if the soul is crying for help and no one is listening. But it is. It is listening indeed. The heart hears everything that the mouth doesn't say. This distance, which seemed like protection, has become a prison, an emotional labyrinth where the days go on, but lead nowhere. And absence has begun to change its shape. It's no longer a pause. It's a void. It's a wound that refuses to heal. Because deep down, there's still a presence that hasn't left. It has only been silenced, suppressed, forced to be forgotten. But forgetting isn't simple. Because there are memories that don't ask for permission to return. They appear in the middle of the night, in the midst of a coffee, in the reflection of the mirror, in the song that plays unexpectedly, in someone's voice that reminds you, in the absence of someone who is missed. And then, what was once it no longer matters becomes a fixed thought. What was I've moved on turns into a lie whispered softly, just to see if it sticks. And what was I don't miss it starts to hurt every time you try to hold on to it. It's at this point that despair begins to arise, not as an outburst, not as a scream, but as a silent restlessness, the kind that tightens the stomach even without a reason, the kind that quickens the heart with no visible threat, the kind that comes with the certainty that something important is slipping through the fingers, and no one is doing anything to stop it. It's becoming unbearable. This is not drama. This is reality. The absence is taking up too much space. It's occupying the place of everything that used to be light. It's dimming clarity. It's interfering with the days. It's infiltrating decisions. It's messing up what seemed right. And there's no mask left to hold it together. There are no ready answers that convince. There are no justifications that soothe. Because the body feels. And the body is reacting. It's tired of pretending. It's starting to collapse. Small lapses in attention. Emotional explosions without explanation. Lack of patience with everything and everyone, a desire to disappear, a desire to return, a desire to start over, but without knowing where to begin. The heart is calling, and no one else is listening, only it. This is how despair arrives, not with fanfare, but with persistence. It settles in silence, feeding on memories, growing over time, and turning everything into doubt, into agony, into urgency. Urgency for an answer, for a chance, for a presence that makes everything breathe again. But time is cruel to those who wait too long, and everything that is ignored for too long exacts a toll. The absence starts to demand payment now, with pain, with weight, with the feeling that it may be too late. But it isn't yet, not yet. Even when everything screams the opposite, even when pride tries to stop it, even when fear paralyzes, there is still time, there is still space, but every second weighs more. Everything is much more evident than what is being tried to hide. It's in the tired gaze, in the smile that doesn't convince, in the voice that falters when touching on the subject, in the resistance that seems like courage, but is just exhaustion. The body speaks, the soul pleads, the heart bleeds. And this absence is turning into despair. A despair that is not a scandal. It's internal, it's deep. It's the certainty that something is wrong and needs to return to its place. But it won't return on its own. Nothing returns on its own. It will take yielding. It will take admitting. It will take feeling everything that has been avoided until now. Because absence, when it grows too much, turns into shadow. And shadow, when not faced, turns into a hole. And a hole, when it opens within the soul, doesn't close with excuses. It only closes with truth. And the truth is this: it hurts, it's difficult, it's suffocating. And those who feel that will notice. The absence speaks louder than any pride, louder than any distance, louder than any denial. It's screaming, even without sound, even without words. And those who need to hear will hear sooner or later, because it's no longer possible to pretend. It's no longer possible to move on as if nothing is happening. The absence has turned into pain, and the pain has turned into a scream. And now the scream no longer wants to be ignored, and deep down it no longer is, because it has already begun to leak. In the way thoughts get lost in the midst of a conversation, in the way the body seems to be present, but the soul is no longer there, in the way any memory, no matter how small, can dismantle everything inside. It's not an exaggeration, it's accumulation of everything that was swallowed, silenced, swept under what was called maturity. But now the weight has returned, and it's multiplying. There's no longer an emotional shield that can hold it. The absence is suffocating, and it's pushing everything to the brink. What once was just a hidden nostalgia has now turned into a subtle loss of control. It's in the impulses, in the anxiety that won't stop, in the irritation without reason, in the need to fill time with anything, just to avoid feeling. But feeling is inevitable, because there's something that remains even when you try to erase it. There's something that insists on calling, even when you swear you've forgotten. This absence is not just of one person, it's of everything that has been lived. It's of everything that could have been. It's of everything that could still be, if fear wasn't holding everything back. And when the absence turns into this kind of void, there's no distraction that can fill it. There's no conversation that can replace it. There's no other touch that can deceive the body for long. The void knows what's missing. The body recognizes what it needs. The soul feels what wasn't said. And this pain is demanding to be felt until the end. No shortcuts, no kind lies, no rehearsed answers. The mask has already fallen, even if there's still an attempt to hold on. The resistance is now just exhaustion in disguise. The coldness is merely a pathetic attempt at protection. The silence is just fear, paralyzing what is already too obvious. Because those who miss someone miss them. Those who love have never stopped loving. They just hid behind empty promises of overcoming. But time doesn't heal what hasn't been faced. Time only puts it to sleep. And now everything is waking up, and it's going to hurt more. It's going to hurt more if you continue to ignore it. This absence no longer wants to be absence. It's pleading to become presence again, even if in silence, even if little by little, even if in pieces. Because there are things that don't disappear. No matter how much time passes, no matter how many times you try to pretend. Some feelings are roots, and you're trying to pull them out with the strength of someone who doesn't want to admit that you need to. You need it back, you need it close, you need to feel again what once made everything make sense. And it hurts because it's clear, because the body sensed it before the mind, because the heart felt it before the words, because the soul is suffocating where there was once breath. It's starting to overflow, and no one will be able to stop it, because what spills out from within cannot be held with hands, not with prepared phrases, not with promises of forgetfulness. It's too clear to keep pretending. And the fear is now becoming small in the face of what is felt, Because no matter how much it hurts to get closer, it hurts much more to stay this way. Cold, distant, incomplete, pretending not to feel, when everything inside cries out otherwise. And it's at this point that desperation reveals itself in full. Without masks, without resistance, without control. It's the moment when pride breaks, when silence explodes, when truth pushes everything out, even if it hurts, even if it's late, even if nothing is like it was before. Because the pain of absence is now greater than any fear of presence. And those who feel have feel, those who need will end up returning. Not always by choice, but by necessity, by survival, by the impossibility of continuing to pretend. And maybe you still try to resist. Maybe you still want to hold on to what's left of the facade. But that will break too. Because pain, when it finds the truth, no longer accepts being silenced. It demands, it pushes, it takes you to the limit. And it's taking you there now. Do you feel it? What exactly are you trying to hold on to? Does it still make sense to keep denying? Has the time finally come to recognize what has always been real? This absence is no longer just absence. It's despair. It's a build-up of longing. It's a scream from within that has nowhere left to go. And it will keep growing until someone hears it, until someone gives in, until someone voices what has been swallowed for far too long. Maybe this is the moment, or perhaps it still needs to collapse. But the collapse is near, and it doesn't arrive with fanfare. It slips in quietly, at the moment when everything seems just too normal. It's there that the mind surrenders. It's there that the body no longer obeys. It's there that the heart starts to reveal everything that has been trapped. You know what I'm talking about. You can feel it. You're trying to hold it back, but you're crumbling inside. And it's not weakness. It's excess of everything. Of what hasn't been said, of what has been repressed, of what has been felt alone. This despair didn't come from nowhere. It was built, day by day, denial after denial, silence after silence, and now it doesn't fit anymore. There's no way to keep everything bottled up inside. The body has begun to show signs: insomnia, fatigue, a desire to disappear, that knot that won't come undone, that emptiness that no distraction can fill. It's overflowing from every direction. And those who try to hold it in end up breaking. That's what's happening right now. A different kind of exhaustion, not physical, emotional, spiritual, as if something inside is crying out for rescue and no one is listening. Or worse, as if there is someone who could listen but chose not to, and that tears apart. Because abandonment isn't just in the absence of someone, it's in the refusal to see how much this is hurting. This absence is no longer neutral. It has an impact. It has consequences. It is eroding everything that once still resisted. And now, there's no more later. Time has run out. Excuses are exhausted. Justifications have become ridiculous next to the real pain being felt. Because when it reaches this point, it's no longer about pride. It's no longer about being right. It's no longer about winning an imagined war. It's about being able to breathe, about being able to sleep in peace, about being able to look in the mirror without turning away. And none of this is happening. Because what's missing is so much more than has been admitted so far. There's a lack of peace. There's a lack of meaning. There's a lack of that presence that named everything, that put chaos in its place, that made the weight of the world feel bearable, and its absence has turned into this unbearable emptiness, an emptiness that tears at you day after day. That seeps into the little things. That hides in the daily routine but never disappears. It's right there, always, like an echo that never stops, like a negative presence that makes more noise than a living presence. And the mind tries to deceive itself, creates distractions, turns up the volume, avoids, runs, pretends. But the heart doesn't forget, doesn't give up, doesn't lie. It screams, and it's screaming right now. You feel it, you know it. Even if you don't say a word, it's all there. In your chest, in your throat, in the forced silence. It hurts, and it will keep hurting until something changes, until this absence is confronted, until the truth is brought to light, without masks, without strategies. The time has come to stop running away, to stop pretending, to stop sustaining an emptiness that has turned into despair, because there's no more time to keep dying in silence. This pain has surpassed its limits, and if it continues like this, something inside will break in a way that won't heal. If this is what's being awaited, the final collapse, and then just continue pretending. But if there's still a shred of truth pulsing, a trace of courage, a breath of hope, then it's now, before everything is lost. Before this absence destroys what could still be saved, before the pain becomes permanence, before love is buried under pride and too much time. Because it's screaming, it's throbbing, it's pleading. This absence has turned into anguish. It has become uncontrollable. It has turned into an abyss. And abysses cannot be filled with more silence. If there's still something in you that pulses, that recognizes, that feels, then you've already realized. If this message touched something you were trying to hide, share it with those who need to hear it. Subscribe to receive more content like this. Leave your comment. Have you ever felt this kind of absence? And if it resonated with you, give it a like. That too is presence.